you just want to practice, then the YouTube live stream will be perfect. It'll be a higher quality volume in the video, but if you want to interact, then the Zoom is a much better option. Okay, so let's go ahead and just get into the swing and have a nice warm-up lap. I'm sure some other people will be hopping on as we start here. Let's get into our basic sumo and hang out here and have a chat. I'd rather chat in sumo always. So we're going to keep our arms pressing into the swing to help lift the chest. And we'll do a little bit of ergonomics, a little bit of alignment, but I really want to focus on the body parts today. So I'm also going to go over, I don't always go over this, but I'm going to go over the uniqueness of the swing and how I like to use the swing, because a lot of people that are new still have questions about the actual design. So one of the ways we're going to use this today, you guys can stay in sumo while I'm showing you some things. One of the ways that we can use the swing is without the main swing itself. So I'm going to put that aside and just show you that if we use, and go ahead and come out of sumo anytime you need a break, but it's nice to just kind of hang out there. Now, if we use the leg loops and handholds by themselves, they're much more similar to the TRX system. And TRX has these straps that you can do a lot of strength training and conditioning with. So all of your push-ups and pull-ups and core exercises, and then, of course, flips and acrobatics and stuff can be done with just the handholds and leg loops by themselves. So this is one way to use the equipment. I don't take the swing off very often, but I did want to show you what is so different about this. And then if we just hung the swing by itself, it's like traditional aerial yoga, if we can even say traditional for something new. But aerial yoga is the silk scrabbic folded in half. So we could take off the handholds and the leg loops and just have the main swing, and that would be okay too. But I like to use everything together. And when we use everything together, it's more of a multidimensional experience. I like to get into the spirals and the spherical nature of the body instead of just linear movements. And that's why I love these round mats that help to define the space. So we really want to work on the ergonomics. And so having something that helps with alignment is key for getting the right position, and then that will unlock the shoulders and hips. So the joints are all spheres. See, the joints are not linear. They actually go around. They're loops, right? They're kind of like a ball and socket, the shoulders and the hips. Now the elbows and the knees are like hinges. They're more of the linear movements. And then the ankles and wrists, as we know, have a lot more mobility. So we want to work with the main hubs of the body, the shoulders and the hips. And so that's why I like to talk about a little bit more in depth when I get to do this kind of virtual training like this weekend. We get to talk about the body parts, and we get to talk about how to use the swing to properly open, align, and heal these parts of the body. If you've been sitting in sumo for a while, you're probably getting a little sore under the arms, so go ahead and lean back, push it down, keep the feet nice and wide, support the head with your hands, and let's come into some swag. So I call it swagger when we sway from side to side, and then when we're leaning back into the swing in a supported back bend, it's called weeping willow. Today I'm not going to focus so much on the names of the poses, but to really give you an experience of different body parts. So we're going to open up the hips, the shoulders. We're going to work with the arms and the legs. We're going to work with the glutes and the core. And then, of course, we're going to focus on the spine and the back, the lower and upper back. Those are all the main hot spots for people. And then, of course, we're opening up the chest just like we are in this pose. And also to name some of the body parts. Now, we can also focus on the neck at the end. The neck is a very popular spot for people to hold tension. But if there are any body parts I missed that you want me to focus on, feel free to chime in when we take our halftime pause. But let's start in a really wide sumo. So I'm moving my feet more to 9 and 3 on the mat if it was a clock. And then I'm going to hold on to my leg loops in my hands, right? And so my arms are really strong. I'm trying to push down with all my strength here. And at the same time, I'm coming into tiny little pulses. Now the key is to stay really low. We're working the quads and we're starting to get into the glutes, but if you're just kind of going like this, you know, it's not as deep and intense. So I want you to make it hard. Make it harder for yourself to lift off. See, like if you can use all arms or all legs and then half and half, and notice the difference. Just switch off with that. Knees are going to stay really wide and the feet are turned out about 45 degrees. And I want you to just do these tiny little pulses until you can't do anymore. Just keep going with it. Press, press. So I'm pressing with my arms really strong, straight arms. I'm bunching the leg loops up in my hands and making a straight fist. So don't kink your wrist. Keep the wrists nice and straight. And then see if you can push into the legs at the same time, right? Really good. So let's go ahead and come to stand. Just take a moment to shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. We're going to stay with the arms and legs and move into the top of the leg loop. I call it the nub. It's where the fabric and the webbing meet. There's like a nice handhold there. So now we're going to do the same thing, staying nice and low, but now I'm doing bicep curls. And I'm doing half legs, half arms. See if you can do all arms. Notice the difference. See if you can do all legs and notice the difference. But stay low. Stay as low as you can and just pulse. So a lot of times people say they don't get enough legs strengthening when they do this. We also want to cross-train in general in our worlds. But it is really good to come into these squats. We're going to do a lot of lunges today, and then we're going to do a lot of leg kicks to get into the glutes. That's it. So you will be able to do 100 squats and 100 bicep curls like this. We're still supported by the swing, right? But if you wanted to make it a little harder, come on up and come on out, release the swing. This is when you could just take the swing off and just do some conditioning training. Now try it. So now we're going to do bicep curls. We're going to repeat without the swing. Use the swing if you need, of course, but just try it without the swing. I'm sure you're feeling a little burn now after doing 2 sets already. But now we're going to come up and we're going to just switch to the center of the leg loop. Straight arms, press. Press and pulse. Stay low. The lower you go, the harder it is. And just see if you can keep your body straight up and down. Notice the crown of my head is directly towards the sky. And then my tailbone is straight down too. If you guys want to turn on your video, I'll be able to see you and give you some pointers, but it's totally okay to play anonymously too. I just can see you and give you a little hint for ergonomics if you want that feedback. Otherwise, just do the best you can. I'm sure you guys are feeling it now. I'm feeling it. So let's come on up and shake it out again. Just shake, shake, shake. Whew. All right. Let's go ahead and go right into our standing poses. Grab for the hand holds, okay, and do a wrist wrap. And from your wrist wrap, I want you to go ahead and come back into your sumo. So let's just stretch it out. We'll give the strengthening a little break so you're not like, uh-oh. And to see if you can do some loopy loops from side to side, some twists, some figure eights. Have a little moment of free time, freestyle, and then we'll come back into rhythm and sync with one another. But just try something new. Play with it. Play with the twists, play with the lunges, play with the sumo, and see how it feels. Usually I add a lot of twists and turns, which completely changes the stretch, changes the body part we're getting into and how it feels. If anybody's having trouble hearing me, just kind of cue me and let me know. Otherwise, I'll assume it's going okay over there. You can hear me, Crystal? Doing okay? Thumbs up? Awesome. Very good. Yeah, let me know if you guys need anything as we go along here. It's all new, trying to get all these technologies to work simultaneously. That's why I like to double up on it. So if something happens to the Zoom call, you can jump on the live stream because that is just posted to the public. And then vice versa, if the live stream goes down, we have the Zoom. All righty, let's come on back in. Up to stand, shake it out. You'll notice that your hands will get tired from holding on like that. But I want to do one more round of core activation. And I'm going to talk about the core activation before we go into it. And this is super important. You guys who have practiced with me have heard it before, but we want to lengthen the torso. We want to open it up. So we lengthen by lifting the upper body and letting the lower body drop, and then we get as much space in between the vertebrae as possible. And then from that position, we're going to strengthen the muscles around the new space we've created. And then the idea is we're creating some buoyancy in the spine where the muscles can actually uphold and uplift that new space instead of doing the crunching on the floor where there's already compression in the spine, and then we're putting in more contraction and compression with the strengthening. So I want you to focus on feeling that when we go into these core activations. So we're going to go back to our wrist wraps. So you put it over the top of the wrist and then you just grab and pull it really tight. Come into your sumo and then immediately into a chair. So that's feet at 12 o'clock and your hips sitting straight down. For those that are really new to the practice, just do some really simple knee lifts. So I call it marching. It's like you're marching in place. But I want you to feel how your spine is lengthening and then strengthen the core around that space by lifting the knees and squeezing the knee to chest. Go nice and slow. So we're going to stay here for 10 more, or we're going to try both knee lifts where you let yourself float. So now you have even more space, right? Maximum stretch. And then you squeeze the knees up to the chest. Inhale here, exhale, squeeze. Inhale, exhale. Repeat for 10 if you can, and go back to marching if it's too much. But this will really get the fire going in the belly. So this is our very quick warm-up lap. Yeah, and try doing it while talking. It's really funny. All right, just a couple more. Go back to marching if you need to, right? So just lift, lift, lift. Okay, back to sumo and coming up. Woo! Just shake it out in between. Shake, shake, shake. Really good. So that's how we can warm up the arms and legs and core quick. Okay, we're going to continue on with this. I promise we'll get into the swing and do more fun, playful things, but I'm going to show you how to use just the leg loops. This is kind of like a sampler platter today on all our strengthening. So we're going to use the leg loops in our hands out in front of us. So I want you to think of stacking the bones. Most people hold their hands too wide, and it makes it way harder than it needs to be. Standing in the center of the mat, we're going to have our hands shoulder distance, and we're going to come into a push-up position, and then we're going to press. So we're pressing the crown of the head towards the sky, not forward towards the camera, right? Not towards the video, and see if you can keep your arms in nice and tight. So we're trying to keep our hands shoulder distance the whole time. That's the hard part. Now we're going to do 10 of these, and again, if these are too hard, let's do a modification, a variation where we come into a lunge. I'm going to step my right foot forward to help support my weight. And then when I press, I'm going to lift my leg. So we're going to do 10 on each side. I know, yes, you'll get very strong while doing this. So push-ups with a lunge and leg lift. Come back to center, catch your breath. Let's go ahead and try it with the lunge. Okay, so hands are shoulder distance. That's really important. Go ahead and step your right foot forward. So my hands are going to be close to my rib cage the whole time. And then I press and lift. Keep the crown of the head pointing towards the sky. That's a really important cue. Hands in nice and tight. They're going to want to go wobbly and wide. So we're getting really good balance as well as strength in. And pull your shoulders down your back, because they're going to slide up to your ears if we don't. Very good. Come back to center. I like to shake it out in between. It just feels good to give everything a little shake. And then we're going to have the swing in front of us. Last round, FYI, for just the leg lifts. We're going to walk to the back of the mat, and I'm going to do another wrist wrap. You have to pull the leg loops down tight and grab. We want them tight across the wrists. Look back behind you and make sure you have enough space. But we're going to come to a squat. This is a nice place to pause. Maybe wiggle a little from side to side, stretching the spine, stretching the lower back. And from here, we're going to do some bicep curls. And again, we want to keep the hands in tight, shoulder distance. And we're going to lean back the whole time, keeping tension on the leg loops. So let's try one. Come back to center. Inhale, lift, leaning back, bicep curl up. Exhale, straighten the arms, lower the bum down. So use the legs and the arms to lift. And exhale, lower, sinking back down. Let it feel good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, sink down. Inhaling, bicep curl all the way up. Exhale, lower. Just a few more. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, lower. You can always pause here if you're done and just sway from side to side. Do as many as it feels good. We're going to do 3 more. Lower down and lift. 1 more. Keep the alignment and come all the way up to stand. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Why don't we go right into our forward folds from here? I'm going to bring my swing down one. You're welcome to keep it where it is, but a little bit lower helps to get closer to the ground. So from behind the swing, I'm going to push it down to the top of my legs and push my hips forward first, right? Feet stay in the center of the mat, and then I'm going to lower. Let's go ahead and come into a down dog right away and just shake it out. I call it happy dog when we wag our tail from side to side and allow the hips to explore in the space. Just let that feel good. Taking your time. Now we're going to focus on the legs again and do some leg lifts. Like I said, we're going to do about an hour of class and then 20-25 minutes of Q&A at the end. So we'll also leave some time for cocooning. Let's stay with it for another round. Inhale, lift. This time I want you to add a leg. Let's add the right leg and pulse. So stay lifted and arched in the spine, and then pulse, pressing the heel towards the sky. Press, 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 press. Do that for 10 if you can. Keep the crown of the head pulling straight away towards the camera. Very good. Press. Yeah, and let's have everybody mute their video when they come on. Welcome. Hi. We're going to hop in with the second side. Left leg lifts and press, 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 press. So I stay arched the whole time. It's like you're wanting the back of the head and the heel to both press towards the sky. And lift as high as you can. Activate the glute. Really good. And down. So now both feet ground. Press your chest towards your knees. And just come back into happy dog, swaying from side to side. Let it feel really good to pause in between. And now we are going to go ahead and do just 1 more round of knee to nose. Activating the core at the same time. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Exhale, pull a knee to nose. Activate the core. And then lift and press. Knee to nose. Really squeeze and lift. Kind of exaggerate the ends of the movement to get the maximum strength. And then we'll work on the stretch. Lift. And inhale, squeeze and lift. Follow your breath. Squeeze and lift. Very good. Come on back down. We'll do about 10 on each side approximately. And then wag in between. Let it feel good. To just pause. Lift the sit bones towards the sky as you stretch your arms far out in front of you. Come to center. Let's inhale. Left leg up. And then exhale, squeeze knee to nose. Inhale, lift. And squeeze. Lift. And squeeze. Very good. Lift as high as you can and squeeze, and just pause there for a microsecond to get the core activated. Lift and squeeze. Lift. Let's stay here and bring the leg out to the side. So it's going to stay lifted, and then we're pressing the leg out to the side. Stay lifted. It's going to be kind of hard. So I'm arched in the upper body, kind of like a cat-cow, and then the leg is lifting straight out. Yep. Keep it lifted. That's the hard part. My arms are going to stay centered, so I don't let my body sway out to the side. And let's try the other leg. Let's go ahead and go for the right leg, straight out to the side, lift. So we're going back to neutral and then out to the side. And just notice the muscles around the hip joint that are working in order to let you lift out to the side. It's kind of intense. And then last one, you keep the legs straight out to the side, and then when you bend the knee, you can hook on the outside of the swing. Let's press the left heel down, and then just stretch the back of the leg. Sway it out from side to side a little to neutralize the intensity. And then when you're ready, go ahead and straighten the right leg towards the sky for standing splits. And just go as far as it feels good for today. Pulse into it with the breath. Take your time. Let it feel good. And let's open up for a twist. Ground the left hand down so the right arm can float all the way up. Maybe reach back for the swing and open up the chest a little bit more if that feels good. Stretch the neck. I reach up as high as I can with my right hand so I can drop my ear to shoulder. Stretch, stretch, stretch in all directions. And then lower it back down. Release that leg. Both feet at the center of the mat. Hip distance. Hand, shoulder distance. Straight arms, straight legs. Wiggle it out. Sway from side to side. Do some loop-de-loops. Whatever feels good. Inhaling, come back to center. Exhale, lift the left leg up and let it come out to the side and then hook. So just try that movement when we bring those two together. Legs straight up, out to the side, bend the knee and hook. It's a nice way to make sure the foot hooks on the outside of the swing instead of the inside. Ground the right heel, pressing down strongly. Stretch it out, opening up the back of the leg. And from here, if this is enough, that's fine. You can straighten the top leg if you wish to go a little bit deeper into the splits. Take some time to pulse with your breath. So you can inhale, lift a little. Exhale, press your chest towards your standing leg. Inhale, lift out. Exhale, press in. Just a little micro movement and pulse with the breath to help modify the intensity. So inhale, pull forward. We're going to plant the right hand down, and then the left arm can reach towards the sky. And then maybe back behind you, you can hold on to the swing. This is such a great stretch to get into the neck, right? So if I reach up as high as I can with my left hand, then my ear can drop to my shoulder. It's just so amazing. And straighten both legs all the way if you can. Just see if you can get the arms and the legs pulling away from one another and keeping a nice long line of energy in the torso. Release nice and slow. You're spring loaded. Come on back to center. Both feet back down to the center of the mat. And one more round. Happy dog. Sway it out. See if that feels good. And we're actually going to come into some handstands today. So watch me for a second if you're new to this. I walk my hands back to the center, to the front of the mat, shoulder distance, and my feet go wide into a wide straddle. Now the wide straddle part is really important. You don't want to keep your legs together because you can slide out. Our hook is at our hips. That means we want to keep our legs wide. Walk your hands to the back of the mat or close to the back of the mat and keep your legs in a wide straddle. From this position, you can try pulling forward and pressing back a little, coming into an arm balance, and then back into the press. So arm balance would be more like a traditional handstand, and then the press back is more like our upside down dog, but with wide straddle legs. Inhale, pull forward a little, and exhale, press back. The fun part is when you're ready to release, you can just pull forward with your hands, hop it to the front of the mat, and come on up. Just try that one more time, since that might be new. Make sure you have enough room around you. You don't want to be kicking anybody. My little Buddha head wants to be safe back there. But now you can try just lifting your feet and swimming back. Now, if that's too much, go ahead and walk your hands back. But this is what it looks like. I pick up my feet, my hands will slide back, and my legs go wide. When I want to come out, I press forward with my hands, and I can land it with my feet And if all goes well, I come out in angel wings. All right, one more time, a little playtime. That's it. Yeah, just give it a go. This is what it looks like to walk back. I would reach down right next to my feet. I'd walk my feet back. I'd walk my hands back. And I would just kind of crawl to the back of the mat. I'm only going to go about 3/4 of the way back. I don't actually hit the back of the mat. It's just an attraction. And then if I just want to pull forward and land it, then I can come up through angel wings. So try both ways. Try crawling and then try lifting and pressing. And then pulling and coming all the way up. Very good. All right. So let's go ahead and pause here. Before we continue on, we are going to get in the swing now. I am going to field any comments or questions you have. So come on out and unmute yourself so we can have a chat if you'd like. Would anybody like to ask a question? Crystal? I know, catch your breath after all that. now that you're flying monkeys.
Well, I'm feeling much stronger than I did at the last session. I'm feeling a lot more strength in my core now.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I'm really enjoying being able to pulse and feel the slight differences. I don't really have any questions. I'm just feeling the buzz now. It's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you for just sharing. Yeah, it doesn't have to be a question. We can just share and have comments. I will just continue on for another half hour unless somebody wants to share something, which is totally fine. You don't have to interact. I just like sharing. And then if something, like I said, if there's a burning question or desire to give feedback while we're practicing, you can unmute yourself and do that. But we will have some time at the end again just to have a discussion. Is everybody good with the video quality? You guys can see me all right and the sound's all right? We're all good? Thumbs up? Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and hop back in then. And I thought that was just a nice break to catch our breath anyhow. So yeah, so those are part of the flying salutations, that last little bit that I shared with you guys. And that's how we can get strong and have fun at the same time. Not everybody loves handstands. I happen to love handstands. So the fact that we can use the swing to get into handstands and headstands and all these inversions quite easily and safely, it's pretty amazing. So I do like to practice those every day. Just get in the swing into a forward fold, press back with a wide straddle legs, and play with it. See how it goes. We can do a longer handstand workshop this weekend during the virtual training if anybody's interested in exploring the variations. Well, very good. We're going to get back into the main swing, pressing it down behind the heart, and then slide into 10 and 2 on our mats. My round mat took like a walk with me, so I'm going to get that back. There we go, in alignment. So yeah, make sure we have the ergonomics, because I use the mat quite a bit to find the exact spacing. So we want to get our tailbone directly underneath our plumb line. So if you have something underneath you, use that, because otherwise it's really hard to find, right? So this makes it a lot easier for us to see where we are in space and have that reference point. So that feels way better. Okay, I brought my swing down for the forward fold, so I'm going to bring it up one. Now, everybody asks what position to hang the swing. There's a bit of a play or a variation. You know, when I reach up on my tippy toes and hang the carabiners, that's typically the right spot. But you can bring it down one to make it a little bit easier, and the same with the leg loops. Typically, the leg loops will be 3 of the steps of the daisy change, 3 of the steps on the ladder down from the swing. But sometimes I'll put that number 4 down. Sometimes hanging the leg loops lower is better, is easier. Having them up a little higher is harder. So let's go ahead and bring just one leg into a half sumo to begin and do some more legs. So we just worked on our glutes when we were doing our leg lifts, and now we're going to get into some more leg stretches. Give our arms a break since we've been doing so many arms with our pull-ups and our push-ups and then our handstands. So I'm extending my left leg. Let's all just try and do the same side. It makes life a little bit easier as we transition. And I'm going to use my forearm press to make sure my underarms stay happy. My upper body is very engaged, right? So that press into the swing is taking pressure off the armpits. So we're just doing some simple stretches. I like flexing the toes back and just wagging in the space to lubricate the hip joint. And then we're going to just do one simple pigeon out to the side. Let's do same hand as foot. And see if we can just pull the foot back towards the armpit. It's such a different stretch. And then from there, try pressing the knee down to the ground and seeing how that feels. So typically I like to bring the foot towards the center of the chest, but this time I'm pulling the leg straight back towards the underarm. And it's a totally different stretch. See if you can keep the other knee open, even though it's going to want to drop. Press the other knee open. Right knee is going to stay open. Ooh la la. Okay. From there, we're going to turn it over and we're going to go right into our quad stretches. I'm going to walk my foot over to 9 and 3, right? So I use it as a center line. And then I'm going to hook and pull that leg towards me. Dropping in. I'm holding on with my other hand, so it's like a bicep curl, right? It's a bicep curl with both hands. You can hold on to the leg loop and hold on to the swing and do these tiny little pulses. In many, many of the poses, see if you can bring that foot in closer to your bum. That's the quad stretch, okay? So there's only a little bit of distance there, if you can. Happens to be the exact distance of my Buddha head. It's right in between. But yeah, the closer you pull your heel towards your bum, the deeper the stretch. You probably have figured that out. And then I'm squaring my hips to the side. Right, instead of towards the camera, I'm going to square them towards the side, and that will that'll align the hips properly to get a deeper stretch in the quad. Since this is a very intense stretch, what I usually do is just come to stand and take that leg loop off. That makes it easy to transition. We can flip it back over and whatnot, but if you have any sensitivity in the knees, just come on up to stand, and that can give you a break. So let's go ahead and get started once again in our sumo. Go for the right leg loop. Use your core to lift and get the leg loop right behind the ankle joint. Forearm press will help to lift the chest, and then the hips drop straight down. Now, even in these poses, people tend to push their hips up. So I want you to think of pushing your tailbone down as you lift your sternum up. Get as much space and distance as possible in the torso for the spine. And then just wag. Take your time here. The hips, the hamstrings, the quads, these all tend to get very, very tight. And slow it down a little. We'll go into like smooth jazz, right? Just a little bit smoother and slower through the movements. See if you can get into all the little nooks and crannies there. I like to flex the toes back. When I flex the toes back, you'll feel a deeper stretch. Beautiful, guys. And then a different pigeon, a different kind of pigeon. We do about 10 different kinds, but same hand as foot, grabbing the outer edge of the toes. And then I'm pulling the foot back more towards the armpit than the center of the chest. This is our normal pigeon. This one's out to the side. And at the same time, see if you can keep pressing your left knee open as the right knee pulls back. A little intense there. If you want to deepen the pose, you're going to just push the knee down towards the ground. I'm rocking my hips, my pelvis, and that will start to open some things up as well. This is sometimes impossible for people, so just do the best you can. Don't worry about going too far. Just feel it, and wherever you feel it, drop into it. And then I'm going to hold on to the leg loop, right hand, right leg loop, turn the knee in, flip it over, and go right into my lunge quad stretch. I'm going to keep holding on to the swing with my left hand. My right elbow is hooking, pulling my heel towards my bum, squaring my hips to the side. And then I like to hold on so I can do these pulses, come out of it, even though that's still a deep stretch. When you drop and exhale and come in, you're spreading out, letting everything lengthen. Inhale, lift. It's a little bicep curl, getting strong as we stretch. Exhale, lower, nice and slow. See how slow you can go. Feel where it's tight. Feel where it's sticky. And give the body a chance to open. That's it. Really good. Inhaling, lift. Crown of the head stays straight up towards the sky the entire time. So my chest is lifted even when I come down. So we're really isolating the stretch into the hips, into the hip flexor, into the quad. And you can straighten the front leg if this is an easier stretch for you. You can also straighten the back leg, but we don't need to go there. We're not getting crazy, keeping it chill. But we are up-leveling our practice with a lot more strength today, right? Then we're going to inhale, come to stand, release that foot, just point the toes towards the sky. And come on out. Very, very good. We're going to have about 10 more minutes of active, and then we're going to drop into a cocoon. So stick with me for about 10 more minutes. Let's have the feet in the center of the mat and just come into a really gentle weeping willow. Feet together, toes touching, and swing from side to side. So not at the front of the mat, but in the center of the mat. You're pushing back even more. Support the head with your hands. See if you can slow it down, catch your breath, and reset the hips. Let them integrate what just happened. Taking time to pause in between the poses. Very good. Awesome. Okay, we're going to walk it forward, bring it forward. Let's go ahead and get both leg loops on for chillaxin. We're going to start working on the back, the low back and the hips. So I have my leg loops a little bit higher today. It's going to be a little bit more challenging. Just bring your leg loops down one. If your knees are higher than your chest, that is a sign that the leg loops are too high. So I actually usually work with my leg loops a little higher when I work with beginners, but I'm going for an up level. So this is how to bring your practice to the next level. So I brought my leg loops up a little higher. It actually gives me a deeper stretch, right? So let's just go for it and hold on to our knees and slide up to the top of the leg loops. Make sure you're holding on to the leg loops and come into a wide straddle. Okay, so it is kind of like a 1-2, level 1-2 today. It's similar poses, but you'll see we're doing a lot of strengthening and variations. So we're going to go ahead and inhale for 5 more breaths like that, warming up the hips. Now I want you to notice that if I push my hips down, my feet are level with my hips. Do you see the difference? So I'm not like this. I'm actually dropping in, and that's the stretch. Okay, so just try those variations. Squeeze the knees together. Inhale, bicep curl lift, and see if you can push your hips down so your feet will lift up. Yeah, just try it. It's a little intense. And lift, bicep curl, come into the straddle. Exhale, squeeze, and lift. Now we're going to do a few lifts here. Just stay up and bicep curl. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay lifted. Bring the hands in front of the leg loops, but still around the swing. Skydiver. That's it. So the legs are going back and the arms are going forward. Tee the arms, shoulder distance, so your thumbs are directly in alignment with the shoulder joints. Stay here and get a big stretch through the hips and the chest. Working the front of the body together, and then I'm going to flex, right? So when I flex, my hands are by my ears, not my rib cage, and then I'm going to slide in. Once I'm there, I go ahead and bend the knees. The knees stay wide, feet are together. If it slides up towards the groin, don't worry about it. That's just the high skydiver version. But see if you can get a big opening through the chest and through the hips. So this is skydiver into butterfly. Reverse it. Come on back through. Let's get into our swagger and reset here. Very good. See if you can extend the legs as you twist. Now, if you happen to get seasick easily, airsick, keep it chill. I tend to add a lot of swag and a lot of swing, but it can create a sense of imbalance and wooziness. So if you feel nauseous at any time, just slow it down and skip all the big swagger. It's also really good to open up the connective tissue and fascia, so you want to do a little bit, but just keep building your practice to go faster and faster and deeper and deeper. But most people ask me like why they get nauseous or dizzy or woozy, and it's from all the swaying and all the changing planes we do. I call it changing planes, where we're crossing planes. The body's not used to this because we're normally moving in linear patterns. This is more of a spiral. It's a half spin, right? And when we do these half spins, it's going to work with our energetic body. Our chakra system and our endocrine system are getting turned on. It's kind of like pulling a string on a lawnmower to get it to spin, right? So we're turning on our engines, our energy centers, by these simple movements. And then from here, we are going to come into some inversions today and do some flips. So instead of holding onto the swing, holding onto the leg loops, I want you to reach back and hold on to the swing. Push your hips up towards the sky and let it slide towards your waist. Okay? So we're going to inhale, bicep come to sit. Exhale, lean back. Open up the chest. So we're going to do some crunches here. Okay? So we're going to inhale, lean back. Exhale, crunch. Bicep curl, come to sit. Now again, do this nice and slow if you happen to get woozy or dizzy. Otherwise, go for it and see if you can start to open up the front of the body. So every time we lean back, stay here if you want, we're going to stretch the front of the spine all the way from the pubic bone to the crown of the head. We're opening up the front. And then we can reach back and grab to the ankles to come into a bow pose. Beautiful. From bow pose, go ahead and release your ankles. Just give the swing a little hop so it's across the hips and go wide and around and into an inversion. So most people have done Peaceful Warrior with me. If you haven't done Peaceful Warrior, you can just stay in the bow pose or come back to chillaxin and hang out for a couple of breaths. But if you're in the inversion, toes are touching and we're pulling forward to an up dog, high, and then pressing back to upside down dog. Inhale, pull forward. There we go. Exhale, press back. Inhale, lift. Stretch the belly. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower nice and slow. Bend your elbows. Clasp your hands behind the back of the head and give your body a little stretch from side to side. Pulling straight down to open up the cervical spine and adding a little twist. So we're opening up the lower back. We're getting the whole spine to lengthen out of the pelvis, and we're helping the neck to release by pulling straight down with our hands. Adding a little twist from side to side just helps to open up the spine, open up the connective tissue. You'll feel it in different nooks and crannies. And then we're going to release the clasp, reach up for your inner thighs, hold on to the swing, legs go wide and around. You drop your hips and you'll come to sit. Woo! You might get a little head rush, free high, and then gentle swing from side to side now. Okay, we're going to go over that one more time. This is kind of like the shortcut for our flow, for our chill flow, to go right into an inversion. So this is how we're mixing 1 and 2 together. So typically in a level 1, just watch for a second. We'll go through child's pose, which is a good resting pose. We have star, nameste, and then ladle. From ladle, we'll go into bow. So most people who've been practicing with me for a while know the chill flow. So the shortcut to get into an inversion is to just reach up, grab for the swing, push the hips up, lean back. You want to wiggle it so it's across the hip bones. If it's too high, it'll squeeze your kidneys. It's not as nice. So bow pose, stretch the spine, release the ankles, wide and around. Toes touch. You have to hook your legs around the swing. And then we're in our inversion, which I call a Peaceful Warrior when we clasp the elbows, and an upside down dog when I straighten the arms. Okay, so let's all come back into it again. Meet me here in our upside down dog. And let's just do 5 more pulses with the breath. Inhale, pulling forward. Exhale, pressing back. Inhale, lift. Stretch, stretch, stretch the belly, strong arms. Exhale, press back, chest towards the center of the mat. Inhaling. Use your breath to pulse the energy around the body. Exhale, let it go. Release any tension, any buildup, any stress. Inhale, create more space. Very good. Exhale, press back and relax. Okay, so this time I'm going to have you transition your hands to the tops of the thighs and straighten your arms. This will give a deeper stretch for the low back. Look over one shoulder and the other shoulder to see if you can get a little bit more space for the pelvis. Little more space for the lumbar spine. Just add some twists in any of the poses to do some variations. We're ready to come on out. Reach up and grab for the swing. Legs go wide and around. Drop your hips and you'll come to sit. Land it in chillaxin. Very, very good. We're just going to do 3 minutes of neck stretching here, and then we'll be ready for our cocoon, our Shavasana. So now we reach for our knees and slide up the leg loops. Take your time. Make sure you catch your breath. I'm going to bicep curl, come up to stand. So I squeeze my legs together into the center of the mat. And then from here, I'm going to take the swing out from behind my back and place it around my neck. I like to hold on to the swing. My feet are going to float. And then I'm just going to let the swing traction the back of the neck. Nice and easy. My hips are dropping. The more weight in my lower body, the deeper the stretch. And sometimes it feels good to do a little sway from side to side. But I want you to be slow and gentle with the neck, because this could be irritating if you have an injury, or it can feel amazing if you have a lot of tension. So you have to decide how much pressure and how much stretch is appropriate for you. And if you have a neck injury, you can always keep your feet on the floor too, and then just do a little bit of work where you're nodding and lifting. If you lift your feet and float, there's going to be more weight. You're supporting more of your weight with the swing. Just take a moment to appreciate that body part, to appreciate how much your neck does to hold up your head, and how much work it does to keep all those thoughts, all that brain power nestled and balanced perfectly on top of your neck. Just give the neck some love. Appreciate how much it carries, how much it does, how it allows us to navigate, to move, and to see, and to change positions, to look around. Mm-hmm. Okay, keep holding on to the swing. Bring yourself back up to stand. Very good. Take a pause here. Just notice how everything starts to fluff up and release when we're done. And then we're going to see if we can get into our cocoon from here. It might get a little tricky if the swing got twisted, but you can grab the bottom edge and you can pull it underneath your bum and slide it to the knees. And once you slide it to the knees, you're going to push the leg loops back down to the knees, and just make sure that you have enough fabric above your head. You don't want it bunched up behind your neck. And then if it feels good, extend the leg loops to the toes. So we're stretched out now. We're ready to relax. Really good job, everybody. Appreciate you practicing with me and trying some new sequencing, focusing on some body parts. Get a good position for your arms. Sometimes it feels good to hang them over your head. Sometimes it feels good to rest them on your lap or over your chest. But find your favorite position. Let yourself drop in for 5 delicious, long, luxurious minutes of deep relaxation. Let it all go. You made it. We strengthened the core. We activated the legs. We did a ton of arms. We worked on the glutes and the back. We opened up the chest. We released the neck. We covered so much today. Just let this be your moment of transformation. We get into the cocoon for our metamorphosis. We allow ourselves to completely absorb the benefits of our practice. Let the hips drop and be even heavier now. Even more weight sinking down. Let the head be relaxed, completely relaxed into the swing. Letting the swing hold you and hug you during our relaxation, our meditation. Let it be nap time. Let it all go. Very good. With your attention, just lightly do a body scan and notice if there's any little bits that are still holding in the spine or in the limbs. Give it a little wiggle or stretch so you can fully let go now. Sometimes just a little adjustment makes all the difference so the body can find deep relaxation. Enjoy the sensation of floating, of flying, of being completely free and weightless. Notice how good it feels on the nervous system to be soothed and rocked and cradled. It's a sensation that we experience as infants and as children, and that we often don't get to benefit from this essential need of being cradled and rocked and held. Let the stress just wash away and ooze out of the body. Let the swing become like a sweet protective layer that shields you from all the stresses of the world right now. Let it be a safe place, a quiet, calm place to rest. We're going to slowly, slowly, slowly bring our awareness back into the room. The beauty of practicing it at home is you could take a nice, long 20-minute cocoon and nap when we're done. You're welcome to stay here for as long as you want. We're going to transition into having a light and easy conversation about the virtual training coming up tomorrow, about ongoing online offerings, and the opportunity to do private video trainings with me or any sort of video session that you'd like. So in this space, we're going to stay open and receptive and at ease, but we're just going to gently rock from side to side using our legs to create a windshield wiper movement. Very gentle, very slow, rocking the hips from side to side. Maybe it feels good to match and mirror the upper body, and you can stretch the arms away from the toes. The arms go overhead. Nice deep breaths, stretching the entire body, like that first morning stretch when you wake up. Just stretch, stretch, stretch everything. And then see if you can gently remove the leg loops. Get creative, get clever, and let them go. And now I'm still in a full body stretch, fingertips moving away from the toes. And now I can fishtail a little bit more from side to side without the leg loops on. Nice and easy. Returning to the room, letting our hands and fingers explore the space around us Exiting the cocoon and reach up for the back edge of the swing. Bicep curl coming up. All right, you guys made it. Very, very good. You should feel different today. Drink lots and lots of water. That was a pretty powerful practice. And the swing is just so incredible at quickly and easily releasing the tension in the body. So just drink lots of water and give yourselves a break. If you do feel any sort of wooziness or dizziness after practice, ginger tea or ginger chews or grounding foods is what I recommend. So that is a common question. So yeah, I want to open it up. Does anybody want to chat with me from the Zoom call and have any questions? Want me to demo anything? Or if there's a body part that we missed, I'm happy to spend a few more minutes doing some more stretches or strengthening with you. Feel free to just unmute your mic if you want to chat. I'll give everybody a few seconds before I launch into my Q&A on the virtual training. But everybody feeling good? All is well? You can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Are we good? Yes, there we go. We'll use sign language. Really nice practice, everyone. Okay, so let me just spend a few minutes. We won't talk for 20 minutes, but we'll talk a little bit longer about the upcoming virtual training. Yeah, so I wanted to offer something to everyone while we're still in our homes for those that have a swing and would like a little time to drop in and deepen with one another. I'll be offering some private one-on-one trainings this summer in person, assuming that we'll be allowed to move about the cabin some point soon. But until then, I really miss teaching. I really miss my people. And I thought the virtual training was a great opportunity for more people from our global community around the world to practice together and come together in a way where it's not a teacher training, it's not for certification, it's actually a blending of the AYP, the Aerial Yoga Play, and the Ayrx Therapeutics, the Aerial Yoga RX. So this blending adds a lot more of the details than I would in an Aerial Yoga Play training. I'm not going to focus so much on the poses, although we'll go over the poses just naturally. I'm not trying to teach you so you can get your students to do it correctly. I'm actually just wanting you to have an opportunity to deepen your practice and get it in your own body. And I think that's where any good teacher, if you are interested in the certification, any good teacher is going to get it in their body first. And then once you have it in your body, then you feel more comfortable sharing it. You know, so this practice is really for you, the virtual training this weekend. And it is open to everyone. I made it just $99 for the whole weekend, which if you guys know anything about my private trainings, that's a really good deal. But there is an option if that is too much for people's budgets right now. There is an option to just take the 2 workshops from 4 to 6 on Saturday and Sunday. And the workshops would just be a total of $40. So not 40 each, but $40 total. And they come as a package. So it's like you get all the videos and all the recordings. It will be a private video set, so you won't find these on YouTube afterwards. I do have like 3,000 videos on YouTube that I offer for free, but these specialty trainings, I'm going to keep them as unlisted, but that replay is available for you to watch as part of your purchase. So even if you can only pop in for a little bit, it's going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 12 to 4. So that's 12 hours of training. It's a lot. So some people only want to do like a couple hours each day or pop in and out. Like that's all completely welcomed. I understand that we have lives and we have families and we have other engagements. So it's only a special few that can carve out that much time. And then of course you do have the workshops included as a gift. So for those that want the summary and the review, you're welcome to also do 4 to 6 on Saturday, Sunday. I specifically did not add a workshop on Friday because I thought 4 hours for the first day is enough. And then I will open it up for a Q&A from 4 to 5 on Friday, just in case there's anything else that ever, like, it's so nice to hear people's experience, and it's so nice to have a little bit more of a community discussion and dialogue about what happened for them, what have they noticed, what have they seen in their progress with the swing, or also what have they been experiencing with their students if they are currently teachers. So it'll be about half teachers and half students in the virtual training. But the beautiful thing about doing it at home and from your home is, you don't have to worry about what anyone else is thinking or what anybody else is doing. You don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. So it's totally okay to just sit and watch during certain versions of this and be like, you know what, I'll practice this later on the video. So it'll be a Zoom call and a live stream. So the live stream is a better quality for just practicing. If you're like, I just want to practice, I don't have any questions, I don't feel like interacting, then you can hop on the live stream. There's plenty of people who will be on the live stream on YouTube. And then what's great about the live stream is it goes directly into the archive, and the videos are immediately available. So when I record on a platform like Zoom, they have to download, I have to edit them, and then I have to upload them. It's a lot of time. So Zoom will not be recorded because I just don't find the quality of video to be very high. So I have a really good external camera that I use for YouTube. So I will be, and that way it doesn't record, this on the Zoom call, we want to just have our conversations and things like that. So we don't really need that recorded as much. So yeah, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this weekend, it'll be here at my home, my little Davis headquarters. That's very peaceful and quiet. It's like 100 degrees today, so I have the air on, but this weekend is going back down to the 80s, so it'll be a little bit more quiet too. You won't hear this buzz and hum in the background. But I think it'll be really fun. I'm going to cover the basics, of course, mastering the basics. I'm going to be working a lot with the fascia. If you guys have been following any of my videos on YouTube, I've been doing these fascia blasting videos where I'm really digging into the fascia and that sheath, that system that is the connective tissue that covers the entire body. And it's really the communication of the body. What interfaces between the skin and the muscles. It interfaces with the nervous system. There's a lot that's held in the fascia that I don't normally get to address in a teacher training. So that's going to be really fun. I'm going to be working with the immune system quite a bit. I'm going to show you a bunch of immune boosting protocols that you can do with the swing. And then, like I've been hitting to for the last year or so, I really want to get into more of the metaphysics of the body. And the reason, and talk more about why I created the swing and how I use it, and the reason why it's such a powerful tool for transformation. So this is like my main vehicle that I use for my body, not just my physical body, but my mental, emotional, and psychospiritual body. So each day we'll have a half-hour meditation in the swing. I'll be introducing more of my quantum theta healing meditations and how powerful it is to get into a cocoon and go into like this deep rebirthing experience. It is like going back into the womb, and we can do a lot of recalibrating using the imaginal cells and that concept from there. But I also want to get into the microcosmic orbits and the toroidal force field and the Merkaba around the body. These are the energy systems of the body that are more connected to like the estral astral plane. If that doesn't interest you at all, you can just be like, whoop, glaze over, whatever, not interested. But I will be throwing in a few more of those keys and hints into why is the swing so powerful? Why do people have these extraordinary experiences in it? Usually they experience it as like a detoxing or a cleansing, but so much more is happening with the way the chakras work, the way the energy systems overlay, and how they're all affecting one another, which means we're rebalancing our hormones, we're improving our mood, we're getting more brain functionality. We're able to increase circulation and to really improve a lot of these essential systems that affect the functionality of the body. And most people think that I'm completely exaggerating when I say that you can be happier, you can be healthier, you can be younger all by doing this one system. But I'm really not. I mean, it is that amazing and powerful. So when I have a virtual training, when I have like a special opportunity like this, I can really go into it a little bit more and also field questions and just have a conversation and a discussion during the Q&A sequences, during that portion of it. So it won't just be Q&A at the end. Probably after a half hour or an hour after each series that we go through, we'll have a pause and we'll have a break and we'll have a little time to actually share. And it's really nice. It's really nice to have that interaction. It makes us feel human again, to have some sort of connection and to see each other. I really appreciate you guys popping on today and checking out the free Zoom class. I'll put the links in the comments here if anybody hasn't seen the gazillion messages I've put out yet, but it's on my website under the calendar, under events, if you want to check out the Zoom. And if anybody does need a partial scholarship, or if there's any other financial hardships going on, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always happy to help people out or do some sort of trade or exchange. But I think the $99 is a great deal. And of course, it helps me out as well to have a little income right now, since all of my career is centered around touching people and being in contact with people. I really miss the human contact. So I look forward to this weekend. I look forward to our time. And anybody else want to chime in or say anything? Hi, Petra.
Hi. So I just wanted to ask if for anyone else like me who's already done the training program, how will this one be the same or different? There's always incredible value in redoing it and listening to you, all that. But I was just wondering if you were going to change the program for this specific class, or is it going to be more or less the same?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I went over a little bit, but to be more specific to those that have done the teacher training, I'm not going to follow the manual. So it's not going to be like the step-by-step going over poses and describing the poses. It's more of a blending of the aerial yoga play and the Ayrx therapeutics together. And I don't teach it this way in the teacher training, mainly because it's too much to memorize. But what's great about this is you don't have to memorize it. It's more like practice it, experience it, get it in your body, and then use the videos for replay, and watch it again. Now, one thing, and I'll get back to that, Petra, but you just reminded me of something. If anybody is interested in the certification program, you can use the $99 as a credit towards the online certification. So the first level of the online certification is $300. So that would bump down to $200. And after the weekend, you would feel pretty confident to finish that basic level certification. We're going to go over pretty much everything and more. The basic certification is 6 hours, and we're doing 12. You can actually get all 3 levels of certification online for $600. So again, you would get that $99 off that price. And you can just use the online course as a review and go through it pretty quickly, because we're going to go over most of the poses that are in the basic and intermediate, not all of them, because again, I'm not going to follow the AYP manual. And you guys, if you don't have one, you can purchase the manuals online for $40 and have those like on hand, but you don't really need the manuals. I love the Ayrx manual. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's like an encyclopedia. It's 206 pages, and it goes into much more depth and detail of the descriptions of the poses. What do we use them for? What variations and their application? So the Ayrx program is a much more in-depth program than the AYP. And so typically the AYP and Ayrx programs are a total of 40 hours of teacher training. We're only doing 12 of that, 12 of the 40. So the blending is going to be a really unique combination. It'll be pretty like spontaneous in terms of, obviously I feel very comfortable with the poses and the sequences. So you guys could ask me anything and we could just shift gears and address something specific. And that's not something I have the freedom to do in a teacher training where I'm like, I need to get done. I need to get done this sequence, because it's like we do it in order. So we can pop around, which is a little different. And then I don't go into as much detail in the Ayrx and the AYP training about what I use the swing for, why I use it that way. I don't have as much freedom to focus on the fascia and the immune system and the things like that. So it really is a treat for me. This is the first time that I'm ever offering this. This is the first time I'm kind of boiling all of my teacher trainings down into a virtual training that is for everyone, not just certification. And offering it at a reasonable price and at home, so you can do it at your own pace and time. So it's a little bit of an experiment. But is there anything else that I might have skipped that you had a question about specifically, Petra?
No, that was it. That really covers it. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Really good question. Anybody else have any questions or comments? How was the practice today? Anybody want to talk about how they're feeling? At least interact with me a little.
Yeah. I loved seeing everyone practice. It's been really fun. I've only been doing it on my own for a long time now. I mean, since sheltering in place. So
Yay.
It was kind of fun just to see all these others. And I'm sorry I couldn't be a part of it because I had two little ones literally in and off me throughout the entire hour.
Well, that's all right. It was just great to have you here, April. Thanks for chiming in. I'm glad you could pop in.
Yeah, I always appreciate your offerings, Jen, and I'm really excited that your weekend will also include a little bit of your metaphysical wisdom. I always love hearing what you have to say about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's part of the ACE program. I have developed a 100-hour teacher training for the swing called AYCE, ACE, AYCE. It's Aerial Yoga Coaching and Empowerment. It includes 2 of my online courses that are already completed and my meditations and all of that. I just haven't launched it yet. It's all completed. But I'm like tiptoeing into like, okay, are people really ready for the metaphysics? And are they interested in that? Because it's not just a physical practice to me. It's not just a workout. Although, of course, today we got an amazing workout in. Your arms are going to feel great. Your legs are going to be talking to you, you know. My core is so activated right now from what we did. But there's so much more going on that I like to, this is my real passion, is bringing physics and science and spirituality together. So when I can get into the metaphysical body a little bit and really explain to people what as I perceive it, what's going on and how I have very specifically created the routines and the sequences and the pairings, like the poses all flow together in a very specific way. And this creates tremendous healing, openness, and release of patterns. And people, like a lot comes up, a lot of people get into Cocoon and start crying, you know, their first time doing a class. And they're like, I have no idea what's going on. And it's like, wow, you know, we want to really explain to people, we're releasing like the surface charge and off-gassing the cellular memory. And what is held in the connective tissue is our story, is our history. So when we start digging into that and manipulating that in certain ways, people have profound responses. And so we can use the swing for yoga massage and for a lot of different healing modalities. I include a lot of touch into my one-on-one sessions with people. And of course, I include the swing in my healing sessions like every day. So for me, it's a natural bridge. And for people who have the desire to take the swing into more of the meditative and healing modalities, it's an amazing program. And I wanted to create a 100-hour teacher training program for those that want those CECs. So it's all accredited through the Yoga Alliance, and you can use it towards your yoga hours. But you don't need to be a yoga teacher. Obviously, this program crosses over to physical therapy and acupuncture and chiropractic, and all different modalities are welcomed beyond the yoga. So that was a lot. Thank you for listening to that. Well, we can hop off, and if there's anything else, Crystal, you good? You want to share anything?
I thought this would make you laugh. I didn't puke this time.
Yay! It's success. Yeah, I know. It can be so intense. It can be so intense sometimes if you haven't been doing the big practices. Yeah, people always say when they practice with me, it's so much more intense than what they do at home. I usually just get into the swing and play around every day too. I don't always do something super intense. Yeah, so I apologize if there were any written comments. Obviously, okay, Natalie raised her hand. Hi. Was that a while ago?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
And sorry, I just got in a few minutes ago. I completely missed the workout because I forgot I didn't put this in my schedule.
Oh,
but I'll
nice.
watch the replay. I just wanted to say we got a swing from you a couple months ago when the shelter in place got started, and it was really for my daughter who has an autoimmune disorder, and it's been wonderful for her in terms of her movement. I've also been using it, but I think a structured class would be wonderful for both of us. I wanted to ask you, is it appropriate for the class, she's 12 years old, for her to take it?
Oh, sure. Why don't you guys do it together? So you can pop in and out. Like, the only thing that I notice that sometimes 12-year-olds get like bored. They're more advanced than we are in so many ways. So they really just want to play and go for it. And when I get into all of the little nitty-gritty and details, they could be like a little like, okay, but she's at home. She can do whatever she wants. She's not going to be quote unquote disrupting the class, right? If she's just flailing around and doing her thing. But yeah, I think you could both get a lot out of it. Thank you for asking. But she's welcome, of course.
And thank you. It's been really wonderful to get acquainted with it.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I'll put the link on Zoom. But if you are wanting to hop on the weekend, pop in and out as you feel right, because 4 hours a day might be a little much. But you'll get the free replay to watch, which is always good. But, stick with it and switch on and off. And then I think you guys will have a good experience,
Sounds good. We'll look into it. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Appreciate you asking.
No problem.
All right. So I think we're good. Did everybody get a chance to say hi? I think that's everybody. All right, everyone. Well, hopefully see you this weekend. And if not, I'll see what I can do about offering at least like once a month another free Zoom class to keep us connected. If you guys want to do like a regular class, send me a little love note encouraging me to do a weekly Zoom. I could do it for, a sliding scale, 10 or 20 bucks, and have something regular. Typically I travel a lot, so obviously that hasn't been happening. So I am available to do more weekly stuff